What's going on, you guys? Gaming Addict here. So I've been gone for a while. I apologize. I've definitely been sick a little bit here lately, and not to mention Destiny 2 came out. So I've been playing a lot of it. And I've had a couple people ask me, is Destiny 2 worth your money? There's a lot of speculation going around about it with, it being, well, it's just Destiny 1.5 or, however that might go. So, I figured I'd give a deep, detailed review overall, my overall impressions of Destiny 2. So, first off, as you can see, I'm level 293. So, anyone, and 293, that's not good enough. That is definitely not good enough for me. So, I'm going to go ahead and make myself a 296 so none of you bitches can be saying I didn't put enough time in this game, because that's a high power level. Anyway, let's get on to the overall thing. First thing I want to say is, spoiler alert. I am going to be pretty much spoiling everything related to this game, from every mission to every aspect of the game, including the raid. So if you don't want this, you might want to click off the video right now. Alright, so let's get into this. The game starts at the tower. You're flying to the tower, and it gets attacked by a Cabal faction known as the Red Legion. So what happens is the Red Legion is commanded by someone named Gaul. Gaul is a banished Cabal that's been thrown out of the Cabal Empire because I don't know if they really went into detail about why Gaul was banished out of the Cabal army, but besides that, that's all you really get from him. He takes the entire tower. He drains the Traveler of his light. I wouldn't necessarily say he drains it. He blocks it from going to the humans, to the Guardians, to the Exos, to anything that is getting its power in that solar system, or anything the Traveler is giving its power to. So when you wake up after he kicks you off this big ass pillar, which was a badass cutscene, you wake up in the outskirts of the farm. So you wake up on Earth, and you wake in the outskirts of the farm, and you meet some new players in the thing. You meet Hogwarts, or I probably just butchered her name, but she's pretty much just a regular human that was not blessed with the light. She wasn't reanimated. She doesn't come back to life when she dies. So she has you do miscellaneous things around Earth to really grasp that, what are we doing? What are we doing? How are we going to do this? I came here because I found out about what happened to the tower. I'm trying to help. She helps you reach out to places. She helps you do anything you can. She really gives you a grasp on what is going on that's not in the tower. She gives you that insight on some people don't have the light, and their lives are shit because of it. Because they have to worry about that death. They have to worry about, everywhere they go, it might be the last time. For those of you that don't know, a Guardian is resurrected when he is fallen. So after you do a few miscellaneous things for her, you get a distress call from Zavala. So Zavala is Zavala is the Titan Vanguard. He's on Titan. So you go to Titan. This is probably the least favorite place of the entire game. The area itself looks really nice. I like, the vibrant water goes behind it, but it's, as you can see, it's not that big. There's not even a lot of missions here to do. You have 3 or 4, maybe 5 tops. And, it's pretty much Zavala's we need a counter offense. We need to take the tower back. We don't need Gold doing what he's doing. So, after you do a couple things for him, reestablish power to Titan. I'm sorry about the coughing, you guys. You get to a point where he's like, I need my Vanguard. I need my fire squad. So, obviously, he's talking about Ikora, and he's talking about Kay. That's the initial Vanguard, the original fire squad. So, you go look for Kay. Kay's found in Nexus. Alright, Nexus is a crazy-ass place. So you find someone named Failsafe. It's artificial intelligence. And she's like, yo, Kate is stupid. He done stupid shit. He's trying to get some Vex technology. And what is he doing? He is trying to get something to get as close to Gaul as possible so he can take the battle to them. So after you do, a couple missions trying to, it's actually really just one mission, but the mission's decently long. You go around all of Nexus looking for these points that Cade keeps teleporting back and forth because he's gotten himself trapped into a time rift. And what that pretty much is, it's Vex technology, and they've trapped him in a teleporter. He keeps teleporting to different sites of Nexus. So after you free him, you find out that, what's going on is you need to find a way to take Goal's powers back. Because Goal is, he has no light. He doesn't have the travelers not fusing in him. Nothing of that according. So, he comes together with you and you're like, let's go find Ikora. Ikora is the warlock vanguard, and Cade is the hunter vanguard. So Ikora is an Io. Ikora has this other warlock with her that really does not like Titans. Let me tell you guys right now, this other Titan is very, very anti-Titan like. He says stuff like, oh, Zavala, he wants to take the fight to them, and they're just not about that. So what you find out is that Gaul has a machine that connects to suns that it will destroy the entire sun, and it would take the first 3 planets with it. I don't know if it would take more than 3 because, there's a lot of distance between Earth and Mars, so I don't know if it will go all the way to Mars. But, so what ends up happening is you find out that the only way to take out that particular machine that they have hooked up to the sun is you have to go in it and you have to dismantle it from the inside out. Because if you blow it up, it's going to take the entire sun with it. And Zavala did not know this clearly. So then what happens is Ikara ends up joining Cade and Zavala back at the farm. And the farm's in Earth. So, now you're trying to devise a way to do all of this damage without being killed yourself, because you got to keep in mind that Guardians can be killed now because the Traveler is not surging through them. So what ends up happening then is, the only person who's got light is you, which, I completely failed to mention that. I'm sorry, you guys. It's been a long morning. You got your light back through a shard that was found on Earth. That was a shard of the Traveler. It surged back through. You're the only Guardian in the entire galaxy that has light again, which is it's a big deal. Anyway, let's back on. So you find out that what you need to do is you need to go on this thing. So you can't really just go there because, obviously they have defense mechanisms where they won't let trespassers on giant machines like this that is so guarded. So you have to go to one of Gaul's high generals and steal his his credentials to get on this ship. So once you go in there and you kill him, then you have to go steal his ship with the mission after that. So once you steal his ship, you go straight to I don't remember what it's called, to be honest with you. I know that on the directory there was a mission for it. It was right here, but it's not here anymore. But it was like, I think it's called the Almighty. It might have been called the Almighty. So what you end up doing is you go to the Almighty and you disable it. And, as of right now, during this mission, the Vanguard is making its strike on the Traveler while you make your strike on the Almighty. Because the goal is they're going to take on Gaul while you take on the only machine that they have for their trump card. So you take on Almighty and you defeat it. You disable it. You get out of there. And the Vanguard, they're attacking it. Badass cutscene. I loved it. So after that happens, they end up going, Zavala and Cade and Ikora. They're powerful beings, but they got overran. So after you go through all these obstacles, helping, Shaxx and helping Hogwarts and helping, people get, they're helping you get to Ikora, Zavala, and Cade, you end up getting to where they are. and they're all messed up. They're extremely injured. So you go fight Gaul by yourself. So let me tell you right now, Gaul is a very good character. I felt like they did mess up on him some. I felt like his generals could have had more of a personality. I felt like the overall personas of Gaul was fantastic, but I felt like Gaul was misplaced. I felt like they could have, gave him more screen time, maybe have more interactions between, you as the Guardian and Gaul himself, because you don't really talk to him from the beginning, and you talk to him at the very end. That's all. That's the only time you talk to this man, but I digress. He was still a good character. He has used the machine that he attached to the Traveler. He's stealing the light now. So he's embarking the light into himself, and he is forming, the classes that you've been using since Destiny 1. So, you fight him in 3 phases. You fight him when he's using, I think it's one of them. I think it's Arc, then Void, then Fire. Then you fight him using all 3. So he's got all these new powers that he's fighting you with, which, obviously, one Guardian to a generic Guardian, who's going to win? So after you defeat Gaul, since he's a Guardian now, technically, because he's got the light will bring him back. So he's starting to ascend because he's technically immortal now. And he says, he's pretty much saying, you guys can't do nothing to me now. Like, you had your chance. I'm an immortal now. I'm a Guardian. You can't do shit to me. Well, he didn't know it, but the Traveler decided to wake up for the first time in thousands of years and blasted his ass back to oblivion. So Gaul was gone now. They had some really cool cutscene, giving a kind of insight what's going to happen with the expansion. It looked Vexy-ish to me, but it was just the light activated it, so that's kind of weird. But anyway, who knows anything about that? So that's the story. Was the story good? It was fun. It was a good intake of information. What I like of what Bungie did this time is they told what they were supposed to quick. They didn't wait. They didn't mess up. They explained in detail of what was going on. They didn't leave too many question marks besides the cliffhanger at the end of the game, which a cliffhanger is meant to have questions. They answered what the Red Faction's doing. They concluded that story. That is what they needed to do in Destiny 1. They didn't do that in Destiny 1. They opened all these doors and just shut 1 or 2 of them at the end when there's 8 other doors open and no one knows what the hell is going on. You have the mystery of the stranger. You have the mystery of, all the factions at the time that you knew nothing about. They didn't explain anything about the factions. They didn't explain where they came from, their origins. They didn't explain what they want. They didn't explain what the Traveler was, really. So that was the issue with Destiny 1. But, I like what they did in this. I feel like if they keep this up and, they build off of it. Because, obviously as a consumer, we want more. We don't want the same thing. We want to build up from that. We want improvement in the franchises we love. So let's get on to the Crucible. The Crucible, what has been changed drastically from the weapon system to the overall, in-game, for those of you that know, there's in-game content for Destiny. Once you hit level 20 and you get to a certain amount of light level, or power level in this case, because they changed that too, you have in-game content that comes up. You have the Nightfall for strikes. What the Nightfall pretty much is this really buffed up strikes that's really hard and will frustrate you if you don't have the right team. Nightfalls is pretty much the entry tier to this. It's not really that much of an issue as long as you know what you're doing. You have a good squad. But then on top of the Nightfall, which requires 240 power, as you can see, I'm 296. So that shouldn't be too much of an issue. But believe me, it is sometimes. 240, I'm 296, and sometimes, depending on what the Nightfall is and what the buffs are, because every Nightfall has its own stats. As you can see right here, every Nightfall has a timer on it. The timer decreases, obviously, what the timer would do, and you have to do conditions, which obviously it's anomalies on here. You have to kill things and kill anomalies to get your time back. Last week it was some kind of loop mechanism where you had to jump through loops to get your timer back, and more loops would pop on, and you had to jump through as many as you can to get 30 seconds each time. The week before that was killing enemies. You kill an enemy, you get like 2 or 3 seconds back, depending on what kind of enemy you killed. Sometimes you would kill a high class enemy, or a yellow bar, or or anything for that say, and you would get more timing, better timing depending on what you kill. So then you get, obviously it's attrition. It's just, these are the overall mod speculations that you have. I believe for the Nightfall, they don't, the Prestige, which we'll get to that in a second, it doesn't have the rotating modifiers. And what a modifier is you have different classes. Like, as you can see the blue icon there. So that's Arc. Then you have Void, and then you have Solar, which I have a Solar fusion rifle. That rotating modifier in Nightfall, pretty much what it does is what weapon you're using of those colors does more damage and the rest don't do as much. So it'll make something strong like the Merciless, which is, my opinion, the best heavy in the game, weak compared to something, like the Dead Man Walking, a sidearm that probably half of no one uses. It'll make that input more damaging than a heavy. In some cases, not all cases, I think the Merciless probably will do way more damage than this shit, but you guys get the point. So we'll get back to the Nightfall. So what the Nightfall is, it's just a harder strike version with rotating modifiers, different modifiers like, exposure, where if you jump, your shields don't increase. They got a lot of really tough modifiers, man. Exposure is a very, very bullshitty. Your shields don't come back, but you have more shields. So, you'll lose shields, but they won't ever come back, which it might not be called exposure. I can't exactly remember. But, that's the normal Nightfall. This is Destiny 1 all the way. This is exactly how Destiny 1 worked for the most part, besides the time and, some of the modifiers have changed. You didn't have rotating elements in the last game. You had a singular element or sometimes all three. They put in Prestige. Now, Prestige is bullshit. All right, Prestige is that thing that they put on you and you get shot once or twice by anything and you're dead. So this is probably where you're going to get the best gear in the game at the moment. So, we'll go back to the Crucible now. Now, the Crucible is changed drastically. It's like I was saying about in-game. They even changed the in-game Crucible from Trials of Osiris to Trials of the Nine. I don't know why they did this. Maybe they'll explain it more in the lore. I can't go in there yet because I don't have 3 people. But, they changed that. Another thing they changed that really rotated and changed this is they went from 6v6 to 4v4. I know a lot of you people don't like this. They don't like the 6v6 thing, but hear me out. Okay, so you're taking 2 people off every side. So you're taking an initial 4 people out of the game. That's 4 supers. That's not going to be in the game. And trust me, this matters. When you don't have 4 supers going around the match, sometimes the games in Destiny 1 would get chaotic. They would be very frustrating because, towards the end of the game, you'd have a good solid minute where people did nothing but spam supers. This still happens, but not nearly as bad as it was because, like I said, you're taking 4 supers out of the game, and that means something. So another thing they changed is they changed how the overall weapon system works. So initial game, you had primaries, secondaries, heavies. Now you have your kinetics weapons, your energy weapons, and your power weapons. So remember how I was saying earlier you had elements in your weapons, like right here, this is an arc weapon. It used to be you could have a primary element weapon in Destiny 1, but they took that out entirely because they felt like, when you're rolling your primaries around, it should not have an elemental effect, and I, to the most part, agree. So then you would have power weapons. Now, power weapons, they usually initiate with something like swords, swords, rocket launchers, things of this according, what you would assume to be a power weapon. Okay, snipers, fusion rifles, and, shotguns used to be secondaries in Destiny 1. So this meant people would spam you with shotguns. They would slide in on you, don't care to fight you with primaries, and they would try to shotgun you to death because they had a better statistically and better chance of killing you if they slid on you with a shotgun than they did shooting you with, a hand cannon or, a pulse rifle or a scout rifle. So they would really, really push their bounds. Then you had, people with the snipers. They would get that sniper, and, it was really annoying because special ammo is easy to get. You spawn with it. They tried so many times to, regulate it. So they took it out of the special completely and made it a power weapon. Power weapons work different than they did in Destiny 1. And in Destiny 1, you had loot boxes, power boxes that would spawn throughout the field in a certain amount of time throughout the match. And you would have to go pick it up and it would go to everyone on the team. In Destiny 2, it no longer works like that. Destiny 2, it goes on individual walls and you can pick it up and you could shoot people. Only one person gets it though, not the whole team. So instead of giving the whole team rockets, you're only giving one person. They spawn more frequent, but it's easier to maintain because they tell you where all of them are. They did little things in PvP like give call out places. Like one place is called arena, one place would be called hallway, alleyway. They give out initial calls because they're trying to take MLG stuff serious. Next thing I want to really go over is clans. They brought clans into Destiny. They went real big deep into clans. You had clans in Destiny 1, but it was not nearly as impactful as Destiny 2. You have a level system, you have a weekly contribution. This is my second character, that's why I only put 750. If I went to my first character, it would be 5,000. Well, I think this is my Titan. I think I did my weekly contribution with my Warlock this week. But you weekly clan Ingram, so if you have 2 or more people, well, half the fire squad team needs to be in, half the fire team needs to involve your clan. So, you need 2 people in, your daily 3v3s, 2 people daily 3v3s. When it comes to something like the Crucible 4v4, you just need 2 again. But the raid, you need 3, because obviously raid is the only activity in Destiny at the moment that has 6 people. So when you do these what's the perfect way to put it? When you do these activities with your clan, you get something called a weekly clan Ingram. And what that pretty much does is you have a person in the tower that you can go to, and she'll give everyone in your clan they'll give you a free Ingram, a strong Ingram, not a weak Ingram, to up your level character just for being in that clan and your clan being very active. You got a clan level. What a clan level is pretty much like everyone in your entire clan does activities and it adds up to this number. As you can see, we've maxed out on our clan XP as of right now, so we can no longer get any more. So that's pretty cool. And what does the level have any significance? Well, I'm glad you asked, because you have a clan banner. What a clan banner is, it's just pretty much like, your overall emblem. And what they'll do is they'll give you, level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5, and level 6. I think there's a 6 there. And they give you incentives to want to be higher level. Like level 1, you gain additional glimmer when looting engrams. Level 2, you get increased public event rewards. Level 3, you improve rewards from eliminating Cabal enemies. So, I would say they interact with each other. If you do a Cabal public event, they obviously you're going to double dip because you're fighting Cabal and you're doing a public event. You'll have a better chance of getting rewards. Level 4, increase the chance of receiving reputation tokens when completing Nightfalls, raids, and trials. Number 5, increased chance of receiving an Ingram while completing playlist levels with a clan member. So that you only need 1 there. So I really enjoy this. I enjoy that they put it in, they did the Nightfalls, the raids. They really went out of their way, and I appreciate that they're trying to incorporate a real decent clan. I hope they they branch out on this, they build on this, they make it really easy to send invites. Things I don't like the fact that it's hard to see who's on your friends list now. It's an extra step. Might not be irrelevant to you guys for an extra step, but I have to push an extra button to go onto this. Chances are I never see this. I usually go to my clan list, but when I go to my overall friends, I have a lot of friends that's playing Destiny at the moment. But this is where you go for your friends list, unless you bring up your actual friends list. So that's cool. It's just a it's nitpicking, not really a huge issue. So let's talk about the raid. The raid's called the Leviathan. Now it's the Cabal Emperor comes after Goal's defeated, and he pretty much gives you an open invitation to the Leviathan raid, and he's like, do this shit. do these activities, beat these trials, and face me. So that's pretty much how the raid goes. I am going to make a more in-depth video about the raid. I'm going to give an overall in-depth review on the raid from every aspect, what I think they could have improved, what they couldn't have improved. Might have a guest, might not, who knows. Might have someone on the Iron Lords. You guys have to figure that out. So, overall impressions, you know, this game is good, you guys. You know, is it Destiny 1.5? That's subjective. I think that it could have been an expansion easy, but what a lot of you guys don't understand is the reason that this game is Destiny 2, and the reason they had to make it Destiny 2 is because Destiny 1 was part of the 360 and PS3 era. So you couldn't really do what you wanted to because you still had those games loading down your engine, loading down everything you had. A lot of people don't think this game looks any different from Destiny 1, and to a point, they have a lot of agreements. I do agree with a lot of you guys, but the special effects, you know, they imply changes way quicker. None of that was possible in Destiny 2, Destiny 1. They fixed glitches that was in the Nightfall overnight. They couldn't do that in Destiny 1. It took months. Patches took months. Everything took months. But this feels like it's more fluid. They can do stuff quicker. Would I suggest that you guys go pick this up? If you like Destiny 1, yes. If you even a little bit remotely like a loot shooter and a highly community game, because this game is not fun without friends, it's a day one purchase. Obviously, it's not day one anymore because we passed the release date. But it's a purchase. It's a $60 title. I can't help it. That's how I feel. The game, it's not phenomenal. It's got its glitches. Did they go out of their way to drastically improve from the first one? No, they did the little nicks that everyone wanted to fix, and that's what we should want from devs. We should want devs to fix the issues that we have with this game, with any game, with any franchise, and for the most part, they did it. And then you got people that I know that could not stand Destiny 1 that said, yo, they fixed a lot of the issues I had with it, so they got their money back. Do you have to buy this game? You don't. You don't have to buy this game if you don't want it. But I would really understand if some of you felt like you needed more of a drastic, you know, a drastic drop. No, not drop. A drastic jump to validate another purchase. But anyway, this is Gaming Addict, you guys. Anyone who made it to this as a 30-minute review, I shouldn't have really went on to this, but I figured I need to give an overall in-depth review when it comes to the game. Tell me what you guys think. Did you guys enjoy the game? If you did, what light level, what power level? All right, put that power level in the comment section. I'll probably have the clan, the raid thing up here a while. I do like the raid. I'll just tell you that. I'll give you more of in depth of what I personally feel like it ranks in the Destiny 2 raids. But anyway, tell me what you guys think in the comment section. This is Gaming Addict, out of here. Peace.